Good evening, yogis. My name is Daniel from Daniel Lee Yoga. Happy Friday and welcome to class this evening. Today we have a level 2 focus class. It's going to be 60 minutes as usual, and we're focusing on twists today. I will mention, as I did in the comment, if you have two blocks, excuse me, if you have two blocks, have them handy. One second. Oh, excuse me. All right, way to get started. All right, getting that out of the system. So, if you have two blocks, two Kleenex boxes, or anything that will kind of help bring the ground off the floor to make it a little more accessible for you, just have those handy and keep them at the top of your mat. Yes, so we're working on twists today, which twists really help to massage these like abdominal organs, really start to kind of wring yourself out, drain yourself out, which is can be really great, especially for the end of the week if you've been practicing this week, either in the fundamentals or in the level 1 class. We're definitely going to ramp it up today. We're also going to be strengthening the hip flexors, the hamstrings, basically the legs and the hips, as well as opening up the shoulders and the chest. Thank you, thank you, Yangi. I am okay. Thanks for checking in. Glad to know you can all see me choking on water there for a second. I am fine. Okay, so yes. Also with balancing, I have some fun balancing poses I've thrown in there. So we're definitely going to work on that today. As far as any notes, I don't think I have anything too special today. Just note that if you are pregnant or are trying to become pregnant, we are doing some more advanced closed twists here, in which case you may want to back off a little bit. You may want to just listen to your body and just do what works best for you. It's always worth mentioning that while I am your instructor, you are your best teacher, and so just do what feels best. So I think we're good. Stream looks good. Youngie, thanks for the comment. I'm doing fine. I think we're all set to go. So we're going to get started on our back. So meet me on your back with your knees slightly bent out in front of you. All right, just place your arms down to the side, palms face down. Let's take a couple breaths here. Take an inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. All right, start by just drawing both knees into your chest. Give a light squeeze with your hands wrapped around your shins or your thighs. Gentle squeeze of the knees in towards the chest. Keep your hands wrapped around your shins and just gently rock from side to side, beginning by just massaging that low back today. We're really going to be asking a lot of our twisting today, and so what really helps to warm that up is just to get some mobility and some dynamic movement in the whole spinal column. So we're going to be working on warming that up today. Gently rocking from side to side. And come back to center. Both knees hugged into your chest. Let's wrap your hands around that right knee. Extend that left leg forward. Flex both feet. Start with your left heel on the ground. Draw the right knee into your chest. Extend that left heel away from your body. Stay for one breath. And exhale as you switch. Draw the left knee into your chest. Extend the right leg forward. Right heel to the ground. Flex both feet so the toes point up towards the ceiling. Draw the left knee into your chest. Extend that right heel away from your body. Stay for one breath. And exhale, let's switch, drawing the right knee in. You now have the option to hover that left heel off the ground if you'd like. So left leg is straight, both feet are still flexed. You can have your heel on the ground or heel is an inch or two off the mat. Let's switch that up. Draw the left knee into your chest this time, extending the right leg straight, both feet are flexed. Option to hover that heel off the mat. And let's switch and start to switch on your breath. So as you inhale, draw one knee into your chest, extend the other leg out. And as you exhale, draw the opposite knee in and opposite leg straightens. Just keep going back and forth on your breath. You can switch between bringing the heel to the ground. You can hover it the whole time. Just do what works for you. Either way, whatever knee is drawing into your chest, just bring that knee towards that shoulder. And remember to keep flexing both feet and pressing that heel away and the straight leg away from your body. Just keep going 1 or 2 more times on your breath. And let's gently hug both knees back into your chest. Give them a nice squeeze. And exhale. So keep that right knee into your chest. Extend that left leg forward. Left leg is straight. This time release the heel to the ground. Release the right hand out to your right side. And bring that left palm to the outside edge of that right knee. We're going to add our first twist here. So that right knee is going to fall down and off to that left side. You can shift your hips around if you'd like. You can stay here if you want a little bit of a deeper twist. Remember, we're just getting started. You can extend your right leg out to the right side. Just do what works for you. We're just here for one breath. And exhale, come back to center with the right knee in the air. And draw the left knee in to meet the right. Extend the right leg straight this time. Keep both feet flexed the entire time. And now release the left arm down to the side, right arm to the outside edge of that left knee. Let that left knee fall off to the right side as you gently twist. Again, you can stay here if you want to extend that left arm out to the side, go for it. Just one breath here. And exhale, come back to center. Let's draw both knees back into your chest again. Give them a nice squeeze. And exhale. Keep your knees hugged in. Clasp both fingers together. And let's place those hands behind your head. So you're placing them behind the back of your head, and the thumbs are touching, they're just gently resting on the neck. So you're cradling your head here, but your elbows are staying out to the sides. Feet are off the mat. Take an inhale, and exhale as you gently crunch up. You're lifting your head and your shoulders off the mat. And inhale, gently release. We're just doing some gentle crunches here. Exhale as you gently come up, and inhale as you release. Just see if you can keep your elbows out to the side. Keep going on your breath. Gently release. So elbows are sticking out, and your head is just gently, your hands are gently supporting your head. Try to keep your feet off the mat and hug your navel in and down. Just keep going a couple more times. And just gently release after your last one. Release the clasp of your fingertips. Go ahead and hug those knees into your chest, arms wrapped around your shins one last time. And exhale, gently release. Okay, we're coming up to a seated cross-legged position. So if you'd like, you can always wrap your hands around your thighs and roll up your spine once or twice. You can also just let your legs fall off to the side. Either way, just meet me in a cross-legged seat at the top of your mat. So legs cross in the middle of the shins with the feet directly underneath the knees. Just make sure you're in a nice comfortable seat here. If you ever need to sit up on anything, you can roll up the mat or place 2 blocks or a towel or an extra mat that you may have underneath your sit bones. Start with both palms on the knees. Let's take an inhale together. And exhale. All right, let's move that spine around. Keep your hands on your knees. Send your heart forward. Let's start to make circles with that entire spine. So we're moving from top to bottom, forward and back. Gently sending the heart forward and back. Try to keep your sit bones rooted the entire time. Just make as big as a circle as you can while still maintaining your stability here. One more time this side. And gently start to slow down, and let's reverse directions. I like to use the imagery of thinking of yourself as a big pot of stew, and your spine is a big spoon that's stirring things up here. Just loosening up. 2 more rotations here. And then gently start to slow as you come back to center. Take an inhale and exhale. Let's extend both arms out. Start with the palms face down. And now externally rotate so the thumbs come up and back, the palms face up. Let's bend at the elbows. Bring your fingertips either to the sides of your head or to your shoulders. And now we're going to just have some gentle twists from left to right. And you're going to have the option to go on your breath. So it may be a little quicker than we normally move here. But just to show you, before you move, you're going to inhale as you turn to your right and exhale as you turn to your left. So you can go as slow or as fast as you like, but try to match your inhales to your exhales. Again, we're just warming up the spine here. So just start by taking a deep breath and exhale. All right, on your next inhale, turn to your right and exhale to your left. Inhale right, exhale left. Again, go at your pace. If you want to ramp it up a little bit, you can. And try and breathe just through your nose here. If you can, just have your head move with your entire torso here. Maybe start to slow it up. Maybe start to speed up. Just do what works for you. Okay, we're just bringing some mobility in that entire spine. Just begin to slow down and try and find the center between the two. Release your hands back down to the tops of your knees. Take an inhale and exhale. So again, just a quick reminder before we go into our twists. Again, ideally we want to start the twist from the navel up. We have a lot more rotational capacity as we start to move up to spine to when we get to our neck. So the neck should be the last thing to move in our twist. So you want to try and start from the abdominal region up towards the head. So let's just practice that just generally here. So let's inhale as we bring the arms overhead. Keep the arms overhead. As you exhale, turn to your right from the navel up. Then release your hands down to the outside edge of that right knee. And then you can turn your right neck to look over that right shoulder. Inhale back up to center, both arms up, palms touch. Exhale, turn to your left. This time, keep your arms up. Then you can release your arms when you can't move your torso any further, and then turn your neck to look over that left shoulder. Inhale back to center, both palms touch. Do that one more time. Exhale, turn to your right. Drop both arms down, and then you can turn your neck to look over that right shoulder. Inhale back to center. And exhale, turn to your left. Drop both arms down. Turn the neck to look over that left shoulder. Let's inhale back to center, both palms touch. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Okay, meet me in tabletop now. Either come forward onto your knees or send your legs off to the side. Meeting in tabletop, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, tops of the feet to the mat. Have those wrist creases lined up with the short edge of your mat. Gently pressing down with the base of each finger and each palm. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Let's add some cow cats. So inhaling as we drop our navel, send our heart forward, look up in our cow. Exhale, round the back, separate the shoulder blades, let the head hang heavy into our cat. Reversing that, inhale into your cow, drop the navel, heart forward, look up. Exhale, round the back, shoulders separate, head hangs heavy. Do 2 more times on your breath. Inhaling into your cow. Exhaling into your cat. Try and start the movement from the low back here, with the head the last thing to move. Finish your last cat, and then just meet me in a neutral spine. So neutral spine, tabletop, gently hug the navel in and up. Now we're going to do those same cow cats, but we're going to add on to it. So I want us to first, we're going to press our heels, our hips back towards our heels in a modified kind of child's pose. So go ahead and send your hips back towards your heels. See if you can gently rest your hips on your heels. If they don't quite reach, don't worry about it. But keep your hands right where they are, so don't extend them out. Just keep them where they were in tabletop. And then lift your hips back up into tabletop. Let's do that one more time. Just send your hips back, just in this modified child's pose. You can keep your head up. And then lift back up into tabletop. Okay. Now, we're going to put it all together. So begin by inhaling as you come into cow. So we're inhaling as we drop our navel, send our heart forward. We're coming into a half chaturanga. So we're going to exhale as we shift our torso forward, bend our elbows back, lower halfway down. Keep the back bend here. As you inhale and lift back up into cow, you still have your back bend. And now you're going to round your back as you press yourself back into that child's pose. Now rounding like a cat. We're going to start that over. So we're going to inhale up just into a cow pose here. Exhale, send the heart forward. Keep the back bend lower halfway, bending the elbows back. Keep that back bend as you press yourself back up into your cow. And exhale, round the back into your cat. All right, you got it? Let's keep going. Inhale, back up into your cow pose, dropping the navel, heart forward. Exhale, keep the back bend, elbows bend, lower halfway. Keeping the back bend, inhale, back up into cow. And then you round the back into cat as you press back to your child's pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling into cow. Keep the back bend. Exhale, halfway down chaturanga, elbows back. Inhale, back up into cow. Exhale, round into your child's pose. One last time here. Inhaling into cow. Exhale, halfway down chaturanga, keeping the back bend. Inhale, back up into cow. Exhale, back down to child's pose. Just stay for an extra breath here in child's pose. Sometimes that movement is more of a mental than a physical thing to get right. All right, let's lift back up into tabletop. Now in tabletop, we're going to add our twisting here. So let's extend our right arm out, right palm faces down. Keep your arm extended out. But now we're going to twist and revolve over to the right side so those right fingertips come towards the ceiling. We're opening our chest here. Exhale as you start to close off your chest. We're sending that right arm underneath, right palm faces up. Hover that right arm off the ground. Inhale, extend that right arm out and up, right fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, right arm comes in and under, right palm stays up off the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, right arm comes out and up, right fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, round and under, right palm still faces up. 1 more time here. Right arm out and up, fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, rounding, right palm faces up. Just release that right hand back down to meet the left. And let's switch to the other side. So make sure you're starting back in your tabletop. Hug that navel softly in and up. Extending that left arm out to the left side this time. Left palm faces down. Inhale as you revolve out. Open the chest to the left side. Left fingertips to the ceiling. Exhale, release that left arm down and under and through. Left palm faces up. Inhale as you extend out. Left fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, rounding under, keeping that left palm facing up. 2 more times here. Left arm out and up as you open the chest. Exhale, rounding, send that left arm through. Left palm faces up. 1 last time here. Inhale and extend the arm, left fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, left arm comes under, left palm faces up. Just release that left one to meet the right. This time, see if you can curl your toes under. Press your hips back towards your heels. And lift your torso up. Try this version of Virasana pose with your toes curled under. If this is a little too much for you, you can come back to the tops of the feet. And again, if you ever need to, you can place a pillow or a couple blocks in between the feet if you need a little bit of elevation. If neither of those work for you, you can always sit cross-legged. Just giving you a different option here with your toes curled under. Let's give the wrist some love before we go on too far. So we're whatever seat works for you. Bring your hands together, intersect your fingers, cross them together. Bring the bottoms of your wrists together. Keep your elbows separated. And let's make those figure eights. Just keep your hands lightly clasped so they're not in too much of a grip. Just making a figure eight with your wrists. You can gently reverse that direction. Always good to give the wrist some love. Gently start to slow and come back to center. Okay, separate those fingers, but keep the bottoms of the wrist together. And now we're going to revolve as we keep the bottoms of the wrist together. Send your hands in and through and around. So the idea here is to try and always maintain contact with the bottoms of your wrists, base of the palm, back of the hand. Let's keep going. Go ahead and switch directions if you've just been going one way. I don't even know what to call these, but they are wrist rotations to some degree. One more revolution here. And come back to center, hands at the center of your chest. And meet me back in the tabletop. Keep your toes curled under if they still are, or meet us there, tabletop with toes curled under. Let's lift our hips up and back and come into our first downward facing dog. You may need to walk your hands forward or back, same with your legs. And it's our first downward facing dog, so let's pedal out the feet. Maybe lift one leg and lift the other. Just take a couple moments to walk your dog here. Just opening up the backs of the legs. You can have your feet a little bit wider than hips width distance if you need to, if those hamstrings are still a little tight right now. Just take 2 more breaths here just to walk it out. And meet me back to stillness. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, let's gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Place the hands to the shins. Nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Coming up to standing. Taking your time, so letting the arms hang heavy, letting the head hang heavy. Press the feet into the mat. Let's just gently roll up from one vertebrae at a time, coming up to standing. Head is the last thing to arrive. And once you meet me up here, just roll the shoulders up and back. Just let them loosen out a little bit. Okay, make sure you're at the top of your mat still. Feet are hips width distance, heels behind the center toes, arms down to the sides, palms face forward. Gently soften your shoulders away from the ears. Draw the tailbone down towards the floor. Take an inhale here. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. All right, let's move. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend, hinge at your hips, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back, halfway lift here. And exhale, forward fold, place both palms to the mat, bend your knees as much as you need to in order to make that happen. Let's step the right leg back, keep the left leg forward, drop the right knee to the mat, uncurl those back toes. Lift your arms forward and up, lifting your torso up, arms overhead. Anjaneyasana. We're just here for a breath. And exhale, releasing those hands back down to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Let's send that left foot to meet the back foot. We're in our plank pose here. Staying in your plank pose for 3 breaths. If you ever need to, just drop to your knees. Either way, you should have your shoulders tracking over your wrists, pressing your heels back down towards the mat. One more breath here. And exhale. Let's drop the knees to the mat. This time, send the right leg forward. Keep that left knee back. Uncurl those back left toes. Inhale as you lift the arms forward and up overhead into your Anjaneyasana. Just one breath here. And exhale, release the hands forward and down. Palms come to the ground. Curl the left toes under. Lift that left knee up. Send that right leg to meet the back leg. We're staying in our plank here again for 3 breaths. You can always drop to your knees. Just try and press down to the base of each finger and each palm. Shoulder blades slightly separate away from each other. One more breath here. And exhale. Everyone drop to your knees. Shift the torso forward, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet and the hips into the mat on your next inhale. Lift your head up and your chest up into your baby cobra. Draw the back to the shoulder blades together, elbows together. Send the heart forward. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release the forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under, press yourself up through tabletop, and lift the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Just stay here for 3 breaths. Hands should be shoulder width distance, feet or hips width distance, with the heels pressing back. Try to hug your triceps in as you press your biceps out. Lift those forearms away from the mat. Stay for one more breath. And exhale. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Feet or hips width distance. Inhale as you lift halfway, hands to the shins, a nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Coming up to stand, press your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift your arms forward and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Let's keep going. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, forward fold, knees can bend, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hand to the shins, nice flat back, maybe straighten your legs. And exhale, forward fold. Place both hands to the mat. This time we'll step both feet back. So step your right leg back, step your left leg back. Staying in plank pose again here for 3 breaths. Always have the option to let your knees fall to the ground. Either way, you want those shoulders over the wrists. Keep drawing the shoulder blades away from each other. Press down through the base of each finger and each palm. Drop your knees to the mat. Inhale as you send your heart forward. Exhale, bend the elbows lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet into the hips and into the mat. Inhale, lift your heart up and your chest up into your baby cobra. Brawn through those collarbones. Keep drawing the tailbone back down towards the heels. One more breath here. And gently release your forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up through tabletop. Lifting up into downward facing dog. Let's move from here. Inhale as you extend that right leg up and back to hip height. Press that right heel back just like we were when we were on the ground. And exhale, bend that right knee into your chest as you shift your torso forward, shoulders over wrists. Then drop that right foot to the mat. Drop the left knee down, uncurl those left toes. This is where if you have your blocks, you can use them. We're going to place our left hand underneath our left shoulder. You can have palm to the mat, fingertips, or place a block underneath your hand. Now inhale as you lift that right arm out to the side, twist the torso so that the right fingertips come up towards the ceiling. Try to keep the pelvis neutral so you're only turning from the navel up. Stay 4 breaths here in our twist. And exhale, release that right arm down. Place the block off to the side. Keep it up at the top of your mat. Curl those right toes under. Lift those left toes under. Send that right foot to meet the back foot. Let's drop our knees to the mat. Shift our torso forward, lower all the way to the mat. Elbows bend back. Uncurl the back toes, press the feet and the hips into the mat. Inhale as you lift your head up and your chest up into your baby cobra. Maybe start to straighten your arms halfway or full way toward your full cobra. Whatever back bend you are, draw the backs of the shoulder blades together. One more breath here. And gently release the forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under, press yourself up through tabletop. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Let's switch to the other side. So lift that left leg up and back. Press that left heel back, keeping that left leg straight. Draw that left knee into your chest. Shift the shoulders over the wrist and release that left foot to the mat. Drop the right knee, uncurl the back toes, tops of the right feet come to the mat. Again, right arm comes directly below the shoulder. You can use a block or fingertips if you'd like. Be stable, hugging and pinning both thighs in towards the midline. Inhale as you lift your left arm out and up, twisting the torso from the navel up, keeping both thighs pinned in, left fingertips to the ceiling. Staying for one more breath here in your twist. And exhale, gently release that left arm down. Release that block off to the side. Curl those right toes under, lift that right knee up, send the left foot to meet the back foot. If you'd like, you can stay up or you can drop to your knees. We're going to shift the torso so everyone's still lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes, press the tops of the feet and the hips into the mat. Inhale, lift up into your baby cobra, half cobra or full cobra. Either way, keep the shoulders over the wrists, broaden those collarbones, drawing that tailbone down towards the heels. One more breath. Exhale, gently release all the way to the mat. Curl those toes under. You can press all the way up to downward facing dog or come up through tabletop. Your way, your option. Just meet in downward facing dog. We're here for 3 breaths. Always a good time to check in. Make sure you're pressing down to the base of each finger and each palm. Keep press the chest back towards the thighs, lifting the hips up in the air. One more breath. And gently exhale. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms out and up, overhead, palms touch, look up. Exhale, hands down to the center of your chest and down to the sides. Just stay for a breath here. We're just getting warmed up. One more breath. And exhale. Coming into our chair pose. Bend our hips back as you bend your knees as you send your hips back. Arms come forward, palms face each other. Try not to arch your back. Keep a nice neutral spine here. Palms face each other. Make sure you can look down and see those toes. Feet or hips with distance. Stay for one more breath here in your chair pose. And exhale, forward fold. Hinging at that hip crease, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins. Nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Place your palms to the mat. Step that right foot back. Step that left foot back. You're in your plank. We'll have the option again if you want to drop to your knees or not. Either way, you're going to shift forward, bend the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the back toes. Press the hips and the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale as you lift up into your version of back bend, baby cobra, full cobra, half cobra, or maybe you lift your legs off the mat into your upward facing dog. Keep hugging those triceps in, press the heart forward. One more breath. Wherever you are, gently release. Elbows come back, forehead to the mat. Curl the back toes under, press yourself up through tabletop or meet us in downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, let's lift that right leg up, press that right heel back. Draw the right knee into your chest, shift the torso forward. Release that right foot to the top of the mat. We're in our low lunge to start here, so keep that left knee up off the mat. Now raise your arms forward, lift the torso up, coming up into high lunge with arms overhead, palms face each other. Keep lifting that back leg up. Maybe have a slight bend in that back knee. That's fine. Just keep your right knee tracking over that right heel. Stay for a breath here. And exhale. Now bring your hands to the center of your chest in your prayer pose. We're going to shift forward and onto that right foot. So shift forward onto the right foot. Draw the left foot up into your chest so that the left knee is bending at a 90-degree angle. Stay at the top of your mat. I'll just turn just so you can see me here. So now, once you have this, extend your right arm forward. And now right palm faces towards the right side. And now you can place that right palm to the outside edge of that left knee. So that left knee that's up, placing the right palm to the outside edge. Then lift your left arm up and twist from the navel up. So the left arm comes back behind you, left palm faces away. Maybe you start to turn to look over that left shoulder. It's a nice little balance here. Keep pressing down through that right heel. Pin that right thigh in. Staying for one more breath here. And gently release as you turn forward. Keep that left knee up. Keeping the left knee up at the top of your mat. You're going to gently send your torso forward as that left leg comes behind you, coming into warrior three pose. So now our torso is parallel to the mat, just like in our halfway lift. This time our left leg is straight back, left heel pressing back. See if you can lift that left leg up to meet your hips. Keep pinning that right thigh in. Drop that left hip down slightly. It might be rising up. Stay for one more breath. And exhale, gently release that left leg back. Come back to your high lunge in your prayer pose here. Let's lift the arms up and overhead, palms look up, maybe a slight back bend. And exhale, release both hands forward and down to the mat. Send that right foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa through your way, so we're shifting forward, either lowering to our knees or just staying up. Inhale as you lift up into your back bend, baby, half full cobra, or upward facing dog with the legs off the ground. Either way, hug those ankles in towards each other. One more breath here. And exhale, gently release your back bend to the ground. Curl the back toes under, meet me in downward facing dog, coming up through tabletop or going directly through there. Now let's switch to that other side. So let's lift the left leg up and back. Press that left heel back. Curl the left knee into your chest. Shift the torso forward, shoulder over wrist. Drop that left foot to the mat. Keeping that right knee up this time. We're in our high lunge. Inhale as you lift the arms forward and up. Lift the torso up into our high lunge, arms overhead. Keep pressing that right heel back. You can have a slight bend in that right knee. Really want to lift these frontal hip points up and keep drawing that pelvis down. Press down through that left heel. One more breath here. And exhale. Now place both hands to the center of your chest, palms touch. And gently shift your weight forward as you press up off that right foot. Now you're coming with that right leg up. Right knee is bent halfway. Take your left hand, extend it forward. Left palm faces to the left and then comes to the outside edge of that right knee. Extend that right arm out and back as you twist your torso from the navel up. Right palm faces away. Maybe turn your neck to look over those right fingertips. Keep pressing down through that left heel. Pin that left thigh in. Don't sink into that. One more breath. And exhale, keep the knee up as you twist back to center. Bring both hands back into the center of your chest. Shifting the torso forward, sending that right leg back into your warrior three pose. Try to get your torso and that right leg parallel to the mat. Press that right heel back. Drop the right hip down slightly. Slight tuck of the chin. Keep hugging that left thigh in. Don't sink into that. One more breath here. And gently release that right leg back as you bend the left knee. Come back into your high lunge. Raise the arms overhead. Maybe add a slight back bend just for a breath here. And exhale, release the arms forward and down. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. Drop to your knees if you need to. Otherwise, vinyasa through. Bending the elbows, lowering all the way to the ground. Uncurl the back toes, lift up into your cobra or upward facing dog. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Hug those outer ankles in towards each other. Send the heart forward wherever you are. And gently release down, forehead to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Press yourself up into tabletop. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Just stay in your downward facing dog for 3 breaths here. Okay, from your downward facing dog, inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees, exhale, walker step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Coming into our chair pose. So inhale as you drop the hips back, arms come forward, palms face each other. And then straighten the legs, hands to the center of your chest, and down to the sides. Again, take a moment to catch your breath here. Arms down to the sides, palms face forward. One more breath here. Okay, this time stay at the top of your mat, but bring your feet together. So now both of your big toes touch, and the backs of your ankles or your heels are maybe an inch or two apart. So basically your feet are touching here. Same in your mountain pose, your Tadasana. So arms are still down to the side, palms face forward, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Take an inhale here, and exhale. So we're coming into chair pose now with our feet together. So bend the knees, send the hips back, arms come forward, palms face each other. Take a quick gaze down, make sure you can see both toes. And in your chair pose, let's draw the hands to the center of your chest. Now we're in prayer pose in our chair pose. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper. We're adding a twist here now. So inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, let's twist to our right first. So twisting from the navel up, try not to move the legs, pin those thighs in towards each other. You can stay up here, or if you'd like, try to place the outer edge of that left elbow to the outside edge of that right knee. Re-square your pelvis. Maybe you need to draw that left thigh back because it came forward. Stay for a breath here. And exhale, gently release back to center in your chair pose with your hands to the center of your chest. Let's inhale as we lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left this time. As you twist from the navel up, you can stay up here or you can drop the outside edge of that right elbow to the outer edge of that left knee. Stay for a breath here. Keep pressing the palms in toward each other. Revolve, maybe look up at the ceiling. And exhale, gently release all of that into a forward fold. Knees can bend. Place your palms to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back, maybe legs straighten. And exhale, forward fold. Let's plant both palms to the mat. Step your right leg back, step your left leg back into plank. Vinyasa through, drop to your knees if you need to, bending the elbows back, lower all the way to the mat. Uncurl the tops of the feet, press up into your version of back bend, baby cobra, full cobra, or maybe lift your thighs and legs off the ground into upward facing dog. One more breath. Gently release yourself back down to the mat. Curl the back toes under, press yourself up into down dog. Get there through tabletop if you need. And we're in our downward facing dog here. From downward facing dog, just take a breath or two. Keep pressing those heels back. Press the chest back towards the thighs. One more breath here. And exhale. Inhale as you gaze forward. Bend the knees. Exhale, walk or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, nice flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming back into your chair pose, keeping the knees bent, arms out, palms face each other. Now stay in your chair pose. We're going to release our hands back to the center of our chest. We've been here before. So we're going to inhale as we lengthen through our spine. Exhale as we revolve to the right again. So revolving to your right in your chair pose. Release that left elbow to the outside edge of that right knee if you'd like. Your feet should be separated this time. Now gaze down to look toward your toes. Shift the weight into your right foot. And then see if you can send that left leg back into a high lunge with your twist here. Keep pressing that left thigh back, press down through that right heel, and see if you can revolve your twist from the navel up a little bit more. Maybe start to turn your neck to look up towards the ceiling. Keep pinning those thighs in. Staying for one more breath here in your twist. One more breath. Gently release yourself back to center. Release the hands down to either side of that right foot. Send the right foot to meet the back foot. You're in your plank pose. Let's vinyasa through. Send the heart forward, lower to the ground, bending the elbows back. Uncurl the back toes, lift your hips up. Lift your chest up into your version of back bend. Just one more breath here. And exhale, release. Curl the toes under, press yourself up through tabletop into downward facing dog. Inhale as you gaze forward. Walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat. Feet or hips width distance. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to the shins, flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, back into chair pose. Arms are forward, palms face each other. Bring the palms to the center of the chest. Inhale as you lengthen. You know where we're going. Exhale, twist to your left this time. See if you can drop that outer edge of that right elbow to the outside edge of that left knee. Gaze down to look at those toes. Shift some weight into that left foot. And then send that right leg all the way back into your high lunge. Right foot on the right side of the mat. Press that right heel back. Lift the right thigh up. Then maybe twist a little bit more from the navel up. Keep bending both thighs in. Maybe turn your neck to look up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing down through that left heel. Raise that right thigh up. Stay for one more breath here. And exhale, gently release your hands down to the mat as you twist back to center. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. Drop your knees to the ground. Uncurl the back toes. Let's press back into a child's pose here. Maybe you separate your knees to the width of the mat. Send your hips back towards your heels. Release the forehead to the mat in your child's pose. Just take a moment to catch your breath. Couple more breaths here. We'll have one more option for an advanced twisting here. It's going to be our half moon pose. So just check in with your breath and make sure and see where you are today. Are you ready to try something new? Are you ready to push yourself? Are you ready to back off and just be competent and complete with what you've done so far? Just take a moment here to reconnect. Take one more breath in your child's pose. And now lift your forehead off the mat. Come back into your tabletop. Curl those toes under. Lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's lift that right leg up and back. Press that right heel back. And bend that right knee. Send it into your chest. Shoulders over wrists. Right foot to the top of the mat. Stay up in your high lunge here. Lift the arms overhead. Lift the torso up. Palms face each other. Now drop your hands, palms touch to the center of your heart. We're going to shift forward into our warrior three. So we're going to shift our torso forward, lift our left leg up into warrior three this time. Press that left heel back. Drop that left hip down. Once you're here, if you're coming with me, you can either stay in your warrior three or you can drop your left arm down to the mat, make contact, and lift your right arm out to the side. Start to revolve from the navel up into your revolved half moon. Parivrtta, Ardha, Chandrasana. Keep pressing that left heel back. Send that right thigh up in towards the hip socket. One more breath here. And gently release back into your warrior three. Bend that right knee. Let the left foot fall down. If you're in your high lunge, raise those arms up overhead, maybe a little back bend here. Exhale, release the arms forward and down. Send that right foot to meet the back foot. Vinyasa through, dropping your knees down if you need to. Bending the elbows back, uncurling the back toes. Lift up into your version of back bend. Just one breath here in our last back bend. And exhale, release down to the mat. Curl those back toes under. Meet me back into downward facing dog. Come up through tabletop if you need. Let's try the other side here. Let's lift that left leg up and back. Press that left heel back. Draw the left knee into your chest. Shift the torso forward. Shoulders over wrists. Drop that left foot to the top of the mat. Keep that right knee up. Lift the arms forward and up. Torso comes up. Palms face each other. Both palms come to touch in the center of your chest. Shift forward into your warrior three pose here. Pressing that right heel back, your torso is parallel to the mat. Drop that right hip down. Stay here. If you're coming with me, you're now going to drop that right hand down to the mat. Lift that left arm out and up to the side. Revolve your torso from the navel up. Maybe you gaze up towards those left fingertips. Keep pressing that right heel back. Pin that left thigh in. One more breath here. Gently release back to your warrior three if you can. Hands to the center of your chest. Bend that left knee, release that right foot down into your high lunge. Lift those arms overhead, maybe a back bend. Exhale, release the hands forward and down. Send that left foot to meet the back foot. Let's drop the knees to the ground. Uncurl the back toes. Press back into your child's pose again. Couple breaths here in your child's pose. Let's gently lift the forehead up. Lift your hips off your heels. Come back to a seat with your legs out in front of you. So send your legs out to the side. Meet me in a seat with your legs out in front of you. Start with the feet flexed, both legs out. We'll come into our Chandrasana. So start by bending that left knee. Left foot comes in towards your hips. And then let that left knee fall off to the side. If you're someone who puts a block underneath your knee, you can do that. Otherwise, just leave it there. See if you can draw that left foot a little bit in closer to your hips. Oh, hi, Oliver. And keep flexing those right toes. Inhale as you lift and lengthen your arms overhead. Keep that spine nice and neutral. Exhale as you hinge forward at the hip crease, sending your heart towards the toes. You can release your hands to the mat. Try to keep a nice long neutral spine. Try to avoid rounding too much here. A little bit of rounding is okay. You're still flexing those right toes. If you want a slight bend in that right knee, more than okay. Go for it. Idea here to send your heart towards those toes. And if you're more flexible than me, you can get your entire chest down. Maybe you walk your fingers out a little bit more. Just keep the engagement of the muscles in the legs. One more breath here. And exhale, gently rock those hands back up. Let's extend that left leg forward to meet the right. Switching sides, so bending the right knee this time. I'll let the right knee fall out to the side. Place a block underneath it if you need to. Maybe that right foot comes a little bit closer in towards your hips. Inhale as you lift both arms overhead, slightly turn over that left foot. Keep a neutral spine and exhale as you hinge forward. Heart comes towards the toes. You can release those hands down to the sides. Looks like Oliver found his favorite toy, my pen here. Keep flexing that left toe, slight bend in the left knee. And gently pressing that right knee down towards the mat. Extend your arms forward if you need. One more breath here. And exhale, gently lift yourself back up. Send that right foot out to meet the left. Let's bend those knees. Send the sit bones forward, and we're gently going to roll onto our backs. Your option, last challenge here, either hug behind your thighs, hug on top of your shins, or if you want the full challenge, arms are forward, palms face up. Gently rolling down from the bottom of the spine up, one vertebrae at a time. If you can, just challenge yourself here. Gently rolling onto your spine. And once you're on your back, just bring your feet underneath your knees. Hips width distance. Let's add one bridge pose here. So hands come down to the mat, press the palms into the mat. Make sure your feet are hips width distance, knees as well. Pressing the feet into the mat. On your next inhale, lift your pelvis up, lift your hips up, lift your chest up into your bridge pose here. Keep spinning those inner thighs in and down so that the knees stay hips width distance. You can stay here if you want to send both shoulders underneath. Maybe you clasp your hands together. Either way, you're sending your chest towards your chin as your chin comes away from your chest. Keep pressing down through those feet. Draw the tailbone towards the backs of the knees. One more breath here. And if you have your hands clasped, gently release. Release the shoulders and now roll down from the top of your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Separate the feet out to the width of the mat. Let the knees fall into touch. And gently rock slowly from side to side. Let the knees rock from one side to the other. And let both knees come back into center. Heel toe your feet to hips width distance. Separate the knees. And we're going to add a spinal twist. You have the option here just to drop your knees off to the side. Or if you'd like, you can raise your right foot off the mat and then send your right knee on top of your left knee. And then you can let both knees fall off to the left side. So you're there, or if you just want to keep your knees together, you can let them both fall off to the left side. So either way, if your right knee is on top, I'll give maybe a little bit of a deeper stretch. Try and keep your knees up at hip height or higher. Whatever twist you are, try to keep that right shoulder down. Extend that right arm out, right palm faces up, gazes up towards the ceiling, or you can look over those right fingertips. Just stay for 2 breaths here. Nice deep, full spinal twist. Gently come back to center. Release your legs if they're wound. And let's switch to the other side. So if you just dropped your feet to the right, you can do that. Your knees, I'm sorry. Or if you want to wrap your left knee on top of your right this time, you can. And then gently let those knees fall up to the right side. Extending the left arm out, palm faces up. Try to keep that left shoulder on the ground. And you can look over those left fingertips if you'd like. Just 2 breaths here. Gently look back up towards the ceiling. Come back to center. Release those wound legs if they are. Let's extend both arms down to the side, palms face up, and extend both legs out. Coming into our Shavasana pose here. Just taking your time to settle down into this posture, one of the most important postures of practice. Arms down to the side, palms face up, legs straight out. Let your knees and feet fall out to the side. Just take a quick notice of your body. See if you have any last little bit of tension, maybe in your fingers, your feet, your knees, maybe your hips. You can loosen them out a little bit. Perhaps your shoulders are still slightly tight. Maybe you have a slight brow that you can release. As the top and bottom of your jaw clench, you can release those. Just take a moment here to let yourself hang heavy and melt into the mat. Release any control over your body and your breath. Just be. And just begin to bring some awareness back into your body. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can rotate your wrists and your ankles. And switch directions in those rotations. And come back to stillness for one last breath here. Now gently take your time to slightly bend your knees and roll over to one side of your body. Letting your top arm come over to meet your bottom, your top knee resting on top of your bottom knee. Stay for a breath here on your side. And try to keep your eyes closed or your gaze softened as you use your top arm to press yourself up into a cross-legged, comfortable seat as we complete our practice today. Once you're in your comfortable seat, you can place your palms on top of your knees, palms face up, or hands can come into the center of your chest. Let's take an inhale together and exhale. Thank you all for joining me in practice this evening. The light and love in me acknowledges and honors the light and love in each one of you. Thank you. Peace. Thank you all again so much for joining me in practice this Friday evening. I hope you feel good. I hope you feel a little unwound, maybe a little opened, maybe a little tired. I know I'm feeling a little exhausted after that class, but I do feel good, and I hope you really enjoyed this class today. Going to be setting up for class next week. So the next class will be Monday evening at 7 p.m. That will be fundamentals. Again, if you ever have any questions, you can leave them in the chat. You can write a comment on the video. My contact info is also in the video description. You can reach out to me there as well. Any comments, feedback, recommendations, I love to hear. I really just appreciate your presence tonight. So take what you have and enjoy your weekend. If you have something fun to do, I hope you enjoy it. Maybe you can get outside for a little bit and get some fresh air. So again, thank you again. My name is Daniel from Daniel Lee Yoga. Thanks and peace.